Okay, so we are here in the next level. Oops. It's level 4. Hardcore role player. Okay. Nearing the point of no return. I agree. This is much lesser known stuff. Knowledge about these topics is actually reserved to only the most serious and committed role players and mystery chasers. Players who have reached this level may feel unwilling to share information with less experienced explorers, and that's, well, might be true. Perhaps believing that they themselves may be about to find something important. Okay. Um, well, this is true, but I don't like this idea anymore about not sharing knowledge. I think the only way to advance in Mystery Unknowns is by sharing knowledge, okay? So, but it's true, it's true. Some people don't want to share this knowledge, uh, if they really have knowledge, because we can see everywhere people saying, "Oh, my friend saw the behemoth out, but I'm not gonna tell you how. I have reached the basilisk, but I won't tell you how." I have seen like this 1,000 times in forums everywhere, and there is no proof. So if you ever see someone claiming to solve a mystery without proof, it's nothing. It worth nothing. Okay, the knowledge we have is about lore, okay, but we don't have knowledge about new mechanism. I really want to talk about the some old topics I didn't talk before. It's about the Liberty Bay demon. There is a demon, yeah, there is a hidden demon in Liberty Bay. It's a very interesting story, and most likely it's a hidden quest. I think this part of the quest is related to the ethereal elemental bow, which is an unobtainable item right now. But I think this is the way to obtain. You don't really need to reach the demon. You need to understand why the demon is there. Okay. Here, level 4, right? Yeah, we level 4. Alistar Crobwell Graves. Okay. Yeah, this is true. Alistar Crobwell, his story you can find in Ties, but actually the funny thing about it is that Alistar Crobwell has three graves in Tibia. The first grave is in Ties, there is a second grave in Pits of Inferno, and the third grave is in Drefia. Okay? Why? Well, basically, Crobwell became a vampire. Okay, that's why he have a grave, but he's not dead, so he walked away, and they made another grave for him, etc., etc. It's a very interesting part of the lore, Alistar Crobwell. Some people say it have to do with the 469 language. I don't really think so. Alistar Crobwell is like is a real person. I mean, he's dead now, but it used to have a relation with numbers and letters, so people think it's related to 469 language. But anyway, Annihilator bear true reward. Okay, people think that if in Annihilation you can exchange the bear for something else. Might be possible, because most likely the bear has some metal inside, because if you see the weight, it's heavier than just a teddy bear or whatever. So it's different. Most likely it has a metal on it, and you can exchange to some NPC for something else. But this is unknown. This is just theories. We don't really know if we can use the bear somewhere else. Okay. Paladins and Lignites with Beast Looks and Utevorex. Yeah, in the past you used to learn the spells from scrolls, so every vocation could have any spells basically. This longer not doesn't exist. There were some players left with these abilities, but they were changed, so we don't really find this anymore, which is very sad, because there were very few players, and it was so fun seeing paladins casting Xebobis looks or that kind of spells. Edron Poison Tower. Well, Edron Poison Tower is very interesting. Some people says that you can actually access to Poison Tower, but what I really think is just part of the story. This place is telling you something. It's telling you this place is very old. This place is telling you that someone used to work there, basically. There is nothing. There is not chest quest. There is well, there is a library, but I think there is no books, because in Hacketfall you can see it's empty. I don't think it was changed by time, so I think it's just a place to tell you the story about Edron. Full Helmet of the Ancients. Okay, As we know, we can use the Soul Ruby, which is here too, to get the full helmet of the ancient. This is in the books, but actually we don't know how to do it, and we don't know how to find the Soul Ruby. This probably is a hidden quest too. Most likely it's related to Serpentine Tower, but the Soul Ruby as an item doesn't exist, so maybe it's just a legend. Might be just a legend, or maybe an achievement, might be anything. Demons in Drefia, the first Thunder Hammer. Yeah, this is true. When Drefia was created, they made like an event there, okay? A nightmare summoned a demon in Drefia. And in besides the demon, there was a Thunderhammer there. So Sipsov or Nightmare just put a Thunderhammer there, just like only for that day. And the guys who defeated the demon get the first Thunderhammer ever in Tibia. Obviously, you cannot find this nowadays, and you don't find a demon. But they were telling you a story because this place is heavily related to demon summonings. Pentagram runes across Tibia. Yeah, there is a lot of pentagrams runes. We have one in Jakundaf Desert, we have one in Demona, we have one in Edron. Demon Power Shell, okay. This is true. This is an old item, but it was not created by Sipsov actually. It was created by players and they kind in burial times. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but like they introduce normal player introduce these items in Tibia. Okay, by force, by hacking it. But Sipsov just delete this item, it doesn't exist anymore. Astronists use macro. Oh yeah, yeah, everyone use macros in all times, so most likely yeah. Treasure Island, Liberty Bay. We don't know if there is something else there or it's just flavor. Who knows? Stream powered spice sword. Okay, you can have this information, you can learn about this information. Kasurdun talking to the dwarf technomancer. I don't remember his name. He has like a big machine and blah blah blah. He talked about this. I don't know anything else about it, but in theory, you should be able to get a steam powered spice sword. I don't know how. Human corpse behind Ivy Dendril. Yeah, there is a corpse in Ivy Dendril behind a door, but a gate of experience. That's what this means. In Hackett files, you can see this corpse has a book, and if you open the book, it says this is a bug. If you read in this, please report to Sipsov. So it seems like it's nothing. It seems just is there for flavor, or maybe it's just trying to tell you a story of this place. NPC Nemal. Nemal is an NPC in Jakundaf Desert. He's blind. He gives you the key to Hall of Lost Doors, and we don't know what to do there. Is there more mysteries in Nemal? I don't think so. I think he gives you the key to the Hall of Lost Doors, and the Hall of Lost Doors is the real mystery. No Nemal. What to do there? We don't know. Captured elf in our fortress. Okay, this is very interesting. I love as you if you know me, you know I love elf and dwarf lore. I think they are the most important part of the lore of Tibia. And if you know their lore, you're gonna discover a lot of things and very crazy things. So why an elf is in our fortress? The orcs arrived to the orc fortress. This place was in the old times in Tibia timeline. It was not inhabited by orcs, so elf used to live there first. And when this orc arrived to the orc fortress, they just get a prisoner to the elf. Now, the interesting things about this is they learn a lot from elf because the elf of the past was very powerful. They have very powerful weapons. Most likely, the warlord sword was uh, was built by them. You know, it's a elven weapon. The warlord sword is actually an elven weapon. So I don't know. Well, it's about that. It's just lore. I don't think it's part of a quest. It's just telling you a story, and actually, you can this information you can find this in a book. A book tell you about this. So it's not like mind theory. This is a fact. Dice Trolls Cave Rituals. We have already talked about this. I told you I think it's related to the Hall of Lost Lords and maybe a shortcut to the Mona or something like that. And I think you can still try some stuff there. I know in Tide Trolls there used to be a quest, a Utable Lux scroll quest. It doesn't exist anymore, of course, but I think there is still a quest. The Annihilator, we know about this, right? It's a video on YouTube. It's not a mystery, really. It's just part of the story of Tibia of a player. Ty's original name, yeah, there is a. Ty's was not always called Ty's. It was changed, but I don't remember the name. To be honest, I don't remember. If you know the name, please tell me in the comments. Liberty Bay Lucky Trunk. This is very interesting. This is very interesting. This is one of the few things few mysteries I think they can be discovered yet. I think they have a solution, and I think it's connected to the demon in Liberty Bay. Also with Ferumbra's stuff, and I think the reward might be the electrical elemental bow. Amalat Obrir Guggenol. Okay, this is funny because this is a book in Thais. It's actually an anagram, and the anagram talk you about the 469 language. It talks about the Hellgate and the Alistar Crobwell. That's why people say it's related. But my question is really related to Alistar Crowley. It might be it's an option, but I don't think so. I think okay, this is my personal opinion. I think this book, the information of this book is for no use nowadays. I think they changed the lore. The proof of this, or the possible proof of this, might be the Silver Maid's old quest, in Jakundaf Desert, where you can find the Alistar Crobwell grave, supposedly. So I think they changed that part of the lore and they just forgot or they don't want to delete this book. I don't think Alistar Crobwell is related to 469 language. I might be wrong and maybe that's the way to get the answer, but I don't really think so. I think there is more clues about this just with the Mad Mage or even tell us, I don't know, a lot of things that I'm not gonna try right now. What else we have here? Frustrated Adventure. Okay, this is from Jakundaf Desert 2. There is a book about a frustrated adventure, and it was supposedly is written by Ronald McDonald. Okay, so that's why people say is. I mean, in Hackett files, you can see if you pull the levers in Ronald McDonald, and they activate something in Jakundaf Desert. That was true, but it's not longer working. So it was in the past. It doesn't work like this nowadays. Maybe it was changed, maybe it was deleted, we don't really know. Hellgate School Matrix. This is in Hellgate, there is a school matrix, just as the name says. The interesting about this matrix was changed. And people think it's a hint or it's a clue to discover the 469 language. It was changed when the Bone Lord name changed to, I mean, from Beholder to Bone Lord. When this name was changed, the matrix was changed too. So people suspect it's related. You need these numbers to know what to do with the 469 language. Gemma parents. Okay, yeah, you can actually find some information about this in my videos too. Gemma, it's a girl, it's a little girl in Blue Digim Fortress, and the parents, most likely, this is just a theory, by the way, it's the Banshee Queen and the Bard. I don't remember the name of the Bard. Okay, whatever. But yeah, in theory, he has some parents, and her mother will be the Banshee Queen. Okay, you cannot really prove. I mean, lore is very difficult to prove it. Like here it is, because people always the haters, they say like, "Or you're supposing many things, but you can prove them." Yeah, we cannot prove like 100%, but we can show you a lot of proof. This is the way, it's different because you're never gonna find in Tibia a book saying this is like this and the lore is like this. Everything is just interpretation. So if all the information point to one point, let's say this is books, okay? On all the books are pointing to this. So most likely the answer is here, right? And that's the kind of content I post in my videos when I have a lot of information. Dead Villa. Okay, this is very good. I want to show you a picture if I let me see if I can find about Dead Villa. You can see this in Hackett files. It was one level under the Lake Ambrose. there is a very strange room in Void, you know. Old player used to say it was called the Villa, but we're not sure if a player can reach this place in the past or it was just sips of trying things in the map software. Okay, so it was true or not, we will never know. But no one has been there before ever. The Corpse War. Okay, the Corpse War is in Genesis of Tibia. You can learn a lot about it. It's very important to read this part of the story if you are interested in lore to know what's the consequences of this. Okay, Bedegar caused walkable tunnel. Okay, this is not true. It was bugged. It was discovered just few months ago that you can actually travel between Bedegar and Kaz. Okay, and it was bugged, and Sipsoft just fixed this bug some few months ago, which is very sad, by the way. Jakundaf hidden oil tile. In Hackett files, you can find one tile, which in the map editor, you know, the software, is supposed to be to activate a function. We don't really know if this is still work. Personally, I have tried some things there, but seems like nothing happened. So this is very cool because it's one of the very few interesting things that you can actually find in Hackett files. So something is telling you that some tiles in Jakundaf Desert you can do something. And it's very interesting. Sadly, we don't know what to do with it. Okay. Hunter with Warrior, Fairmore Hills ride. Okay, yeah, there used to be a ride. There's a lot of rides that we don't see anymore. Like I was talking to some guy some few days ago about the Minotaur's ride in Casterton. I don't know if this ride still exists or they were changed or deleted. I have no idea, but yeah, it used to be a ride. Belfast Moor, the one stranger. Yeah, this information is from Thais. Belfast Moor is Ferumbras. If you play with the letter, you can get Ferumbras. So Ferumbras was in Thais at what point? There is a part of the lore, I'm not gonna explain it right now, but just talking to the NPCs in Thais, you can know about this. We're not sure if it's quest or just lore. Actually, this is the if you do the Gamel life ring quest, you know, without the spoilers, this is the way to get to this quest. Okay, it was very difficult because you have to use a lot of letters to actually trigger message with the NPCs. Time in ties. Yeah, I think this is because every NPC talk about time. I'm not sure. I don't know what this means. Clavotermen. Okay, Clavotermen is related to the Liberty Bay. I don't know where it is. The the trunk and I was talking before. So we already talked about this, but not gonna explain it again. The big hammer. Okay, this is another one in Jakundaf Desert. Some book says that you need a big hammer to break a stone, but this item doesn't exist in Tibia. So maybe it's another item, but people have tried, and I have tried with I think all the hammers in the game, and any of them works. In Jakundaf Desert, you have to hit a stone, and you can break the stone, but you don't really need a hammer. I think this book is referring to that fact, and that's all. That's all. Okay. What else we have here? Cricket, other planets. This is actually in Jakundaf Desert too. This in the library. You can find some information about this. The funny thing, the author of this book in Jakundaf Desert, now you can find the same author in the Satrol library. So it's very interesting why Sipsov in the last years are hinting again to Jakundaf Desert. It's like there is still something hiding there and people don't know about it. Ankramun Ghostland connection. Yeah, there is a lot of connection with Ankramun, but Ankramun is not only connect to Ghostland and Banshees, it's also connect to Basilisk, the 469 language. A lot of things, the genes, I mean, Jakundaf, Warlocks, Necromancers, Nightmare Knights, Rootless 7. I mean, Ankramun connects like everything. Ankramun is like this, specifically Serpentine Tower. So yeah, there is a connection. The connection here is about the language. In Ankramon, in Serpentine Tower, you're gonna find a book in ancient language, and the same language is in Gosland. So that's why it says it's connect. I think. What I'm missing, maybe I'm missing a lot of topics. If you wanna ask some of them, please let me know in the comments. Donations. Donations? I think it's talking about the donations you can get from some NPCs in Tibia, from Thais, Russia, Lugri, Scarl. I don't remember, but you can say donation to some NPCs and you give money to them and they don't give you anything in exchange. Okay. Bright Sword Quest Island. Yeah, there is an island in Bright Sword Quest that you can go there and there is nothing. I think it's just that, an island, nothing else. Um, I don't think it's something cool here to say. Okay, no, not really. So let's go to level 5.